I had a great-great-grandfather that fought in the 5th New Hampshire Infantry. He was wounded at Gettysburg. Once I learned that, and it's probably my initial interest in the Civil War was based on family members having fought. My mother actually is the one that informed me one day, very happily I might add, because she knew I was kind of interested in the Civil War, that you had a relative that fought. Of course, from there it was like, what did he do? Who did he fight with? Do you have any letters from him? Any diaries, pictures, whatever? She did have some things. The more I looked into what he did during the Civil War, the more interested I became. I like horses. And what better way to combine your interest in the Civil War and interest in the horses than to become a cavalry reenactor where you get to spend the whole weekend with your horse and other people that have horses. There's a lot of training that goes into horses, expose them to gunfire, revolver fire, carbine fire. As far as artillery goes, you just never know. Nobody has an artillery piece in their garage, in their basement that they can just pull out. You just bring them to a reenactment, fingers crossed, guns go off, and if you're still on your horse, you're okay. If you're not, you're back to the drawing board. Some horses never get used to artillery fire. Some are good with it from the start. This horse that I have now, Major, is relatively new, but the first Wasioja event back in 2011, during battery fire, Major went straight up in the air, front legs off the ground, me still on him, and hovered, and I was waiting for him to either crash to the ground, roll over on the side, or just pitch me. He went down all the way to the ground, knees buckled, and then he rose back up again, and the Rochester EMTs were behind me, and I looked and I said, I'll bet you guys thought you had your first customer here, didn't you? And they were all laughing, and so I knew Major had a little issue then, but you know, no problem. He did a lot better today. So that's one of the many things you go through as a cavalry reenactor, is worried about getting unhorsed at an event in front of thousands of people. You know, our primary job or goal is to educate the public. Because, and this is not a knock on the school system, but when you go to the grade schools, you look in the history books, you might see 3-4 pages on the Civil War. Come on, are you kidding me? That's it, 3 or 4 pages in the 6th grade on the Civil War, a war that took 4 years and almost tore the nation apart. That's it. So, you know, we want to make sure that when people leave that they know that, you know, the Federals primarily wore blue, the Confederates primarily wore gray, who commanded the Confederate forces, overall commander Robert E. Lee, you know, Ulysses S. Grant. Not only was he commander of the federal forces, but a president. Just some, you know, facts they should know and maybe don't. I mean, we're not here to bore them with all kinds of technical little things unless they ask for them, but it's nice that they go away with at least some kind of memory that says, you know, that was a good thing that we went to the reenactment. We actually learned something, you know, et cetera, et cetera.